Hello students. Today in the chapter Biotechnology and Its Applications, we'll be dealing with the next concept, that is ethical issues related to biotechnology. Right? So we have seen some of the applications of biotechnology, right? And one of the application of biotechnology is production of GMOs. We have seen the advantages of the GMOs. We have seen advantages of GM plants. We have seen advantages of transgenic animals. We have seen, right? So what are these GMOs? Manipulation of organisms, plants, bacteria, fungi and animals whose genes are altered by manipulating using genetic engineering techniques. They are known as GMOs, right? These are genetically modified organisms. It could be GM plants or it could be transgenic animals. And manipulation of these living organisms by human beings, yes or no, for producing the needs for the public, such as these manipulations are done by scientists, researchers, okay. Maybe particular cause could be the vaccine for the disease or the therapeutics or the drugs or any protein rich products. For this purpose the living organisms are manipulated, right? Now this manipulation of the living organisms by scientists and researchers cannot be initiated and proceeded without any regulation or set standards. Right students, I hope you are getting. The manipulation of these living organisms cannot be done by all the human beings, okay. Whoever may be expert in the biotechnology techniques, they cannot perform or produce transgenic animals. There are certain regulations and standards for initiating and proceeding with the manipulation. These set standards will evaluate the morality of all human activities, whether for which the transgenic animals are produced, the activity is going to be good or it is a bad behavior, will be evaluated by another set of people, okay, that is which could be beneficial or harm to the living organisms. In order to ensure the biosafety, measures taken, that is to prevent risk to plants, animals and microbes from transgenic organisms, okay, some guidelines have been regulated or some guidelines have been decided or designed to evaluate the morality of all the human activities related to modification of organisms for human use. The modification could be the transgene is introduced from plants to animals or from microbe to animals. It could be for a specific purpose, must be evaluated. Why? Because there will be a certain community people who has certain beliefs on the living system and they will have their own suggestions and opinions. Therefore, all the activities must be evaluated by certain regulations, okay. So therefore all these guidelines are dealt with a certain branch known as bioethics, by certain branch known as bioethics. So let us say, what is ethics? Ethics include a set of standards by which a community regulates its behavior and decides as to which activity is legitimate and to which is not. Getting? Means a group of people or a group of community or a group of society is going to regulate the behavior of the human activities and it is going to decide whether the activity is legitimate, it is correct with respect to the purpose for which it is designed for or no. That is called as ethics. Means a group of standards or a set of standards is going to conclude whether an activity is right or no. So what is bioethics? Bioethics is a branch of ethics and social commentary that deals with biological sciences and their impact on society. Getting? Bioethics is branch of ethics. Ethics include a set of standards. So you can define bioethics as set of standards that may be used to regulate human activities in relation to the biological world, that is to evaluate morality of human activities that might help or harm the living system. What is the impact? What is the impact of the transgenic animals on the ecosystem or impact of these transgenic animals on the society, on the beliefs of the society? Everything is held or handled by the topic bioethics, right? So the bioethics is nothing but it is a branch of ethics that is going to deal with the social commentary as well as biological sciences and their impact on society. So there are certain bioethical issues pertaining to biotechnology. What are these bioethical issues? Such as use of animals in biotechnology causes great suffering to them. Use of animals. For what we are manipulating the animals? For what the transgenic animals are produced? They are produced to produce certain products required for human use. Right? So when animals are used for the production of pharmaceuticals, proteins, okay, the belief of a particular community people is they are made to a low status as factory. So what happens in industries and factories? They are meant for producing certain products in a large scale. Even we are using the transgenic animals to produce the products in the larger amount, in the higher scale. Right? So when these animals are used for the production of pharmaceuticals, the belief is that they are reduced to a status as a factory. Right? Because why this belief? Because some animals are considered as sacred by few society people, and therefore in order to produce certain proteins, either killing them or slaughtering or modifying these animals is considered as curse. So that is the reason a group of society people may regulate this activity, okay, as a bad behavior, since it is exploiting the living system. So this is one of the bioethical issue, that is use of animals in biotechnology causes great suffering to them because they are used in the production of pharmaceuticals, and animals are considered as sacred and they are worshipped by a group of community people such as cattle. It is worshipped by a group of community people, as well as the certain proteins and all are secreted or produced in the milk of this cattle. Right? So that is going to hurt the belief of certain society people. Right? Another bioethical issue is introduction of a transgene from one species into another species. Introduction of a transgene from one species to another species violates the integrity of species. What is this integrity of species? Each species or animal has its own uniqueness, okay, but while producing the transgenic animals, okay, using genetic engineering techniques, the redesigning of these animals will take place. Getting? By introducing a transgene, we are going to redesign the animal. The animal will have certain specific features which is meant for it. But when the manipulation of the genetic material is performed, the features of this animal, transgenic animal, will be varying and it will lose its completeness, it will lose its uniqueness and its wholeness. This is known as integrity. It is known as integrity. So, introduction of a transgene from one species into another species violates the integrity of species. So, the redesigned animal will lose its original features. Right? So that is known as integrity of species. Another bioethical issues is transfer of human genes into animals dilutes the concept of humanness. Transfer of human genes into animals or vice versa, animal genes into humans is going to dilute the concept of humanness. Right? Human beings have got a specific uniqueness and they are considered as precious when compared with other animals and other birds. Whenever there is a transfer of gene from an animal into the human body, so the humanity or the humanness has been reduced. Right? So that is the reason many society people are against the biotechnology or against the genetic engineering technique. Though these techniques are performed for producing the products and services required for human beings, but they have certain concepts which is going to evaluate these activities based upon the morality. So, biotechnology is disrespectful to living beings. It only exploits them for the benefits of human beings. These are some of the moral issues related to use of genetically modified organisms by a group of community people, and hence all activities are validated. All activities are validated by the group of community people. Apart from these moral issues, we have other biological significances also. Right? Apart from the moral issues, certain biological significances, that is effects of GMOs on ecosystem, are important. Now moral issues are also important because when these transgenic animals are produced, it is going to hurt the feelings of certain group of community people. Okay, it is going to hurt the feelings of certain traditions that are being followed by this group of community people, and therefore it is important to take those reviews into consideration while producing the transgenic animals. But apart from that, another important thing is the biological significances. What are these biological significances? Means more than the moral issues, more than the moral values, how the release of this transgenic animal or the release of the GMO in the environment is going to affect the ecosystem. When these transgenic animals are introduced in the environment, how it is going to affect the ecosystem. That is biological significances. So that is also important. Moral issues, okay. See, if at all we are able to produce a good product from animals, then there is a regulation standard that you can minimize the considerations of the people belief. But see to that it is going to be safe when it is released in the environment. Right? So the biological significances are more important beyond the moral issues. So release of GM organisms in environment can have unpredictable results in ecosystem as it can disturb the ecosystem. How a release of a transgenic animal can affect the ecosystem? The transgenic organisms may multiply rapidly than the native microbes. In the environment, a different set of bacteria will be present, different types of other organisms will be present. But you are going to release this transgenic organism in the environment. So, what will happen? Maybe it may have generation time or multiplication time spontaneously. It is going to multiply and compete for the nutrients with the native microbes. So, it is injustice for the native microbes. Right? It may also transfer genes related to virulence of pathogens. Getting? Maybe there could be certain genes in these transgenic animals that can cause pathogenicity, okay, into bacterial population and increase the virulence. So, it is going to affect the ecosystem. The components of the ecosystem will be affected by the release of the transgenic organisms. So, keeping these issues in mind, government has set an regulating committee or organization to sort out this, to consider the belief of the people, as well as it is going to evaluate the Biological significances. How safe it is to release a transgenic crop or transgenic animal in the environment, the GMOs in the environment, or the products of the GMOs in the environment. Everything will be regulated and observed by a body or by a regulating committee or an organization which is known as GEAC, which is known as GEAC. What is the full form of this GEAC? It is Genetic Engineering Approval Committee. GEAC is Genetic Engineering Approval Committee. So this is an organization that will make decisions regarding the validity of GM research and the safety of introducing GM organisms for public services. Getting? It is going to ensure that the GM research, for whatever the research is carried out to produce a transgenic organism, has a valid reason, means it has a good purpose that is validated by GEAC, as well as the safety of releasing these GM crops or GM transgenic animals or GMOs for public services into the environment. Right? GEAC ensures some of the roles and responsibilities of GEAC. They ensure protection in the field of safe transfer of genes, handling and use of living modified organisms. Right? It is safety. How safe it is to transfer genes from one organism to another organism, and use of these living modified organisms. That is evaluated by GEAC, and GEAC also checks for all research documents, steps in the production, or everything is with respect to environment friendly or no. Right? Whatever the organisms or the manipulations are done, is it going to be not disturbing the ecosystem or no, is also checked by GEAC. GEAC also monitors the valid use of GM organisms, whether the GM organism design have specific importance in public or no, that is, they are used in production of therapeutics and not for the harm purpose. Right? GEAC, because it is a regulating committee. After the approval of GEAC only the product has to be commercialized or it has to be marketed. So the GEAC it is having a high responsibility to undergo all these checks. Right? It has to monitor storage, import and export of hazardous GMOs and cells in India. Whatever the GMOs are produced, that is exported or it is imported, okay, everything has to be monitored by GEAC, and for the approval of these GMOs into the market, to release into the market or to be sold commercially, they have to get clearance from this GEAC committee or from organization. Right? It also examines the proposals regarding the release of GM products and GMOs into the environment, which includes assessing of trial reports as well. So they have to make sure that whether the trials have been conducted and the reports of the trials are ensuring the biosafety, then only the product or the organism will be approved for release in the market. So these are the roles and responsibilities of GEAC, that is Genetic Engineering Approval Committee. One is it is going to validate the research, right? Whether the GEAC, whatever the GMOs are produced, has got or designed have specific importance in public or no, or they are used in production of therapeutics and not for the harmful purpose. Harmful purpose could be the design of the GMOs for wars and all. So in the last concept I will take about this bio wars and bio weapons, that is to the production of bio weapons which can lead to the damage to the country and to the group of people. So the harm should not be present. So all the research documents must be submitted and they have to be evaluated and approved by this GEAC committee. Then only the product will be commercialized. Right? So, anyways, the modifications are handled by a committee known as GAC. Now, after the modification of certain organism and producing a novel product, okay, the entrepreneurs, okay, the head of this research or the one who is investing on this research, after they get the product through genetic engineering technique, they claim for a patent. They claim for a patent. So, there are certain issues related to patents. There are the modification or usage of living organisms for public services as food, and in case of medicine, okay, they has created certain problems with patents. So, whenever a new product is being created, they claim for a patent. So, same thing happens for the biotech products also. So, what is a patent? Patent is the right granted by a government to an inventor to prevent others from commercializing their invention. So, it is a right granted by the government, okay, to an inventor. Now, the inventor with his own ideas and with his own knowledge has produced certain product, has invented certain product. Okay, so he claims for the patent. So, he claims for a patent. The patent is issued by government. So, it is a right given by the government, okay, which is going to prevent others from commercializing his invention. If you see the products in the market, we have paste, okay, Colgate, and we have other products. Maybe if you see example noodles, right, you have different varieties of noodles, okay, like Maggi, Yippee, okay, different types of noodles are present. Now, each inventor, based on his way of processing it, based on the steps involved in the production, based on the taste maker, okay, they will claim for a patent, means which is different from others, and if he has claimed the patent, then others will be prevented from commercializing his product. They cannot take up the same product with the same name, same color and everything, same name tag. It should be different only. That is known as patent. So, patents are granted for an invention or an improvement in an earlier invention or the process of generating a product, a concept or a design. You can claim a patent for any of these following points. If you have performed a new invention, you can claim for a patent. It should be new. It should not be same as others. Okay. So, the way of production of one company is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. Maybe the third step or fourth step is not necessary. So, what the other company will do? It will follow 1, 2 and 5 steps only. So, they can claim a patent because there is an improvement in the design. Okay, there is an improvement in the earlier invention. Then these have the right to claim for a patent. So, it could be an invention. You can claim a patent for an improvement in an earlier invention. Process of generating a product, a concept or a design can be claimed for patent. If these patents are issued or granted for biological entities and for the products derived from them are called biopatents. Getting? What are biopatents? Biopatents that are granted for biological entities such as strains of microorganisms. So, each E. coli will have 2 to 3 different types of strains are present. Okay. So, for isolating and identifying a new strain can be claimed for a patent. And cell lines. What are cell lines? These are the cultures of animal cells. Okay, the primary cells from which the tissues and organs can be developed. So, these are known as cell lines. The patent can be issued for the cell lines. Genetically modified plants and animals can be claimed for patents. DNA sequences, production processes. What are the upstream and downstream processes? So, okay, which process, if you are able to identify a new production process, then you can claim for a patent, and as well as the product application. You can use it for a product application such as drugs. Same drug is going to act for two different purposes. Then one person will claim for one purpose, another person with the same drug is coming out, the purpose is different but the drug is same. Even they have the right to claim for the patent. These are known as biopatents. So what are the issues related with the biopatents? Okay, in the biotechnology there are certain ethical issues. Okay, in those issues also it is related with the biopatents. So public has shown great opposition and anger for patents that are claimed for biological resources. Getting that are claimed for biological resources, because the people, the indigenous people or the native people residing in a particular community or residing in the Indian land, they have certain beliefs on the biodiversity. They respect the biodiversity. So the people who claims for the patent with these bioresources, that is going to be opposed by the group of community people, right? So there are certain ethical issues related with the biopatents when they are claimed for genetic materials, plants, animals. Okay, why? Because they have been in use long ago onwards. It has been identified and years back by the farmers, and it is used by the earlier people. Okay, and it is used by the indigenous people, and now the researchers come and they put it in a scientific manner and they claim for the patent, but it is in use since many years ago. So that is once again an ethical issue related with biopatents, right? So the knowledge that the people are having, the indigenous people are having about the bioresources, their medicinal value, okay, or their ethical value, all together it is known as traditional knowledge. It is known as traditional knowledge because this knowledge is passed on from generations to generations, from our ancestors to the present generation. That is part of the traditions or heritage of indigenous communities. Okay, because now those indigenous people will act as guardians or custodians for this traditional knowledge. They have been using these bioresources, okay, the plants, animals and their products since many years. But now the researchers are claiming the patent for the already existed bioresources by slight modification with the scientific names, okay, which is unethical towards a group of community people. So let us see some of the examples of traditional knowledge. Okay, for what purpose the people are considering these bioresources? Knowledge about the medicinal properties. Knowledge about the medicinal properties or effects of flora and fauna. How the different plants, animals are present, what are their uses. Okay, all together is known as traditional knowledge. And the spices are believed to have certain medicinal value. Okay, the leaf extract of papaya, it is used to treat dengue fever. Now the same leaf extract is produced in the form of capsules and it is sold in the market for the pills for treatment of dengue. This has already been in use since many years, which is existing in the nature itself. Which is existing in the nature itself. So this is going to have a traditional knowledge for the already residing those people, but the researchers are claiming the patent for these products, which is noting as unethical towards a group of traditional people, right? So the industrialized countries using these bioresources for commercial benefits is not accepted by various society and community people. Modern biotechnology seems to exploit the traditional knowledge as well as the bioresources to develop commercial processes. So some of the examples regarding these biopatent issues, that is one patent covering all transgenic plants of Brassica family. Okay, covering all transgenic plants. Means now the present generation people are claiming patents for a group of plants in the same genus. In the same genus, it is claimed for all the plants the patent. If any other person has got certain new invention in one of the plant of the same genus, that will be rejected. Why? Because already the patent is covering all the transgenic plants of Brassica family. In the same family, if the patent is claimed for a particular plant, okay, having certain purpose, will be rejected. So these are known as broad patents. What are they? They are broad patents which makes a particular corporate sector, a particular entrepreneur to be more stronger in the process. So the biotechnological processes helping to take a monopoly control. It is helping to consider a monopoly control over all biotechnological processes, which is going to make a particular company more stronger and more competitive when compared with the rest of the other companies. So though the other companies claim for a particular patent in this family, it will be rejected because the monopoly company has already covered all the patents regarding these transgenic plants in this particular family. So covering one patent covering all transgenic plants of Brassica family is one of the example of biopatent. Based using the bioresources, they are claiming for a patent, and that too it is a broad patent which is restricting others from claiming a patent. Right? As well as the patents claimed for neem products and turmeric products in India. As we all know, the neem products and the turmeric products have certain medicinal value. Okay, they'll be having certain anti-inflammatory values. So all these are once again patented in India. These are all once again the bioresources, and the traditional knowledge is of the people in these areas is being exploited by the modern biotechnology. That is also one of the concern regarding the biopatents. So this is also one of the ethical issue regarding the biopatent. Right? Now these whatever the neem as well as the turmeric, they are used as a medicinal products and they are patented by the Indian people. If these bioresources are utilized by the foreign country and they are patented there, claiming it as a new product or a new invention, then it is known as biopiracy. It is known as biopiracy. Getting students? Biopatent is, it is a right granted by the government, okay, for a new invention that is preventing the other companies for commercializing that invention. That is biopatent. What is biopiracy? Pirating it. Means already this biopatent without the knowledge of the indigenous people or authorized country, it is being unauthorizingly or illegally utilized by the other country. It is known as biopiracy. So the biopiracy can be defined as, it is a term used to refer to the use of biopatents or bioresources by multinational companies or other organization or other countries without proper authorization from the countries and the people concerned without any compensatory payment. Getting? Without giving any compensation to the residing people in those areas, but utilizing those bioresources without their knowledge, without informing to them, okay, that is known as biopiracy. Right, students? So it is a unauthorized usage. It is a unauthorized usage of biopatents or bioresources, either the multinational companies or it could be other countries, without any proper authorization, means without any intimation with the concerned people, means those people who are residing in that area will have beliefs, certain traditional knowledge they will be having. So it is mandatory to inform those people when those bioresources are used for the research purpose. Right? So some of the examples of biopiracy is patent granted in the USA in 1997 that covers the entire basmati rice whose origin was India. Yes or no? In India, rice is the major food source for all of us, right? So based on the research and based upon the survey, okay, it says we have 2 lakh varieties of rice grown in India. Out of these 2 lakh varieties of rice, 27 varieties contribute to the unique and a special flavored rice known as basmati rice. Okay, in India, 2 lakh varieties are found. Among this are grown, and among this 27 varieties contribute to the basmati rice, which is famous for its rich, distinct aroma and flavor. So in the year 1997, what happened? The US people, they claimed patent for basmati rice as considering it as a new invention. So what they did, how they claimed it as a new invention? Okay, the Indian basmati variety was crossed with semi-dwarf varieties. Getting? Semi-dwarf varieties of normal rice was crossed with the Indian basmati rice. Okay, so they will have a recombinant product is formed. Yes or no? Though the originality of the basmati rice is India, but it is illegally taken by the US company, and by small modification, what they did? They are going to claim a patent for basmati rice, new variety of basmati rice. So the US patent gave the right which allowed to sell a new variety of basmati rice in US as well as in whole abroad. Now the Indian people or the Indian market will go down because there is not much export, because the right is given to the US, and this patent is going to reject from commercializing the Indian basmati rice. Getting, students? The patent was issued to US for commercializing the basmati rice, but whose origin is India. Whose origin is India. So the US patent allowed to sell a new variety of basmati rice in US as well as in abroad. Okay. So this is once again, it is a biopiracy, means unauthorized usage of the particular country's bioresources. They have utilized the Indian bioresources for the production of new variety of basmati rice, and it is commercialized all over US and other countries, which has restricted the Indian market to export its basmati rice. Patents were also attempted on Indian traditional herbal medicines such as turmeric and neem. Okay, on turmeric and neem also they have tried to claim certain patents, okay, based on the usage of the products as well as the process of manufacturing these products. So slight change in the invention, okay, slight change in the product production stages, slight change can claim for a patent. So using our bioresources, other countries are claiming for patents which is unauthorized and which is illegal, known as biopiracy. So there are certain ethical issues related to bioethical issues, considering the issues with respect to usage of bioresources, as well as they are going to claim the patents for the bioresources, and one more is unauthorized usage of bioresources without giving any compensation and without giving any intimation. The usage of the bioresources is known as biopiracy. So it is being believed by people that industrialized countries are exploiting the traditional knowledge towards bioresources to develop modern applications, and can also be used to save time, effort and expenditure during their commercialization. Yes or no? Why the traditional knowledge is disturbed? Because we can produce the large amount of products in the less time by less effort and less expenditure. Right? And one more issue is, one of the application of biotechnology is production of transgenic organisms or GM organisms. Why we require GM organisms? To treat a particular disease. To treat a particular disease using genetic engineering techniques, we can modify an organism. So the modification of organism can be advantageous as well as disadvantageous. When it is going to be disadvantageous? When the purpose of creating a particular organism is leading to the death of the people, or it is going to cause the disease in the people. Yes or no? So now in the present scenario, if you see, okay, all over the world there is a coronavirus, and now it is considered as a bioweapon, right? There are the news that it is a bioweapon released from China. Yes or no? So how this coronavirus is made like that? It is using the genetic engineering techniques. So the genetic engineering techniques can solve the issue as well as can create an issue. It could be advantageous or it could be disadvantageous. Why these bioweapons are used? In the bio war. It is used in bio war. What is bio war? It is the use of highly infectious pathogens, their spores and toxins and agents of biological weapons against humans, crops and animals of enemy country. Usage of the infectious pathogens for destroying or damaging the humans as well as crops of the enemy country. They are known as bioweapons. So when these bioweapons are used to destruction purpose, it is going to lead to the bio war. Right? So these transgenic organisms can be produced in the form of sprays, powders, okay, which is containing the virulent pathogens that are used during the war. During war, what will happen? These virulent pathogens are used in the form of sprays as well as powders. Examples, okay, if you see the bacteria Vibrio cholerae, variola virus, Pasteurella, Bacillus anthracis, these are some of the already used bioweapons in the olden days. Vibrio cholerae causing cholera, yes or no? Variola virus causing smallpox, Bacillus anthracis causes anthrax disease. These are all contagious diseases caused by the transgenic organisms. By modifying these organisms and releasing into the enemy country for the destruction purpose. So, in the bio war or in the creation of bioweapons, the biotechnology is used, which is once again an ethical issue because its purpose is destruction. Right? So, keeping all these in mind and due to these ethical issues, some countries developed laws to prevent unauthorized exploitation of their bioresources and traditional knowledge. So in India also, Indian Parliament has passed an amendment, okay, of the Indian Patents Bill, which will cover all these patent, research and development issues. Whatever the issues concerned with these ethics will all be regulated and sorted out in the Indian Parliament uh, bill, the amendment released, that is Indian Patent Bill, which is going to sort out all the issues, ethical issues, okay, issues related to biopatents and issues related to bioweapons, whether the validity of the GM crops or the release of the GM crops, everything, and the patents, everything together is handled by the Indian Patents Bill. Clear? So this is about the concept ethical issues in biotechnology. One is bioethics. It is the a set of community people are going to regulate the activities of the researchers, and it is going to decide the good or bad behavior of producing the transgenic organisms. The morality of the human activities are decided. And biopatents, there is opposition from a group of people for patenting the bioresources. And biopiracy, that is illegal or unauthorized use of the bioresources from a particular country or by multinational companies without the knowledge of the indigenous people who are staying there, and without any compensation, is known as biopiracy. And one more issue is with respect or concern with the bioweapons, which is leading the transgenic organisms produced are leading to the destruction purpose. So all these are regulated by a committee known as GEAC, Genetic Engineering Approval Committee, as well as the patent issues are dealt by Indian Patent Bill. Thank you, students.